Sige. Hello everybody, kag mayong gabi. So recently I had the idea for this channel that I wanted to create a new segment where I share stories from my life and more specifically stories from the Philippines. So yeah, that's the new segment of this channel. It's basically story time and I get to sit here and ramble on about stupid experiences I had in the Philippines. This first story comes from a place called Victorias. So I was assigned on a mission in Negros Occidental. So most of my stories are from Negros Occidental. Victorias was my third area. So by the time I was assigned to Victorias, I had been in the Philippines for over a year. And so I was already fairly fluent in the language. I could understand most things people were saying. And I could say most things I wanted to say. I could get my point across. And as a missionary, the vast majority of your time is spent proselyting or helping others through service. And that's basically all we did, except for one day a week, every Monday, we had time usually from around 6:30 in the morning until around sometime in the afternoon. I can't remember exactly. It's been 3 years since I've been on my mission, but sometime in the afternoon, and that was your time every week to prepare things for the rest of the week, so you don't have to worry about doing chores like laundry, cleaning the house, buying groceries. So every week that's what we do. And one week, my companion and I were doing laundry, and so we're inside the house doing laundry, and this guy calls for us to come out. And this is kind of weird, first off, for a missionary, because as a missionary you don't get a lot of visitors, and for security reasons we wouldn't just tell just anybody where we live. So not too many people knew where we lived, but I mean, find where the white guys live. Yeah, it's not too hard, I guess. Yeah, these guys call us to come outside, and I go and answer the door. My companion is just still sitting in the back. He's still doing his laundry. He didn't get up. I'm the one who answered the door, and there were 3 guys standing at the gate. They were kind of dirty looking, like their clothes were dirty. They looked a little winded, like they were tired or like kind of out of air. And one of them was holding a rice sack. And I couldn't see what was inside the rice sack. I didn't really know what they wanted. And they don't give any explanation or anything. Maybe they didn't think I spoke Filipino. This guy just starts saying maral, maral, maral. And he keeps saying this over and over again. And he's like kind of wide-eyed, and I have no idea what this guy wants. And so I ask him in Filipino, what is a maral? Ano ang maral? And he gives me no explanation. He's just repeating himself over and over again. Yeah, I'm just absolutely confused about what this guy wants, what he's trying to sell me, or whatever. And so I look over at my companion and I ask him, hey, you know what this is? The problem is my companion was also brand new. He was Filipino, but he didn't really know Hiligaynon yet, and he was just as confused as I was. Eventually this guy just, I guess he was tired of yelling the same word at us over and over again. He told us to come look and see what he had in the bag. And so we moved close to the gate, and the guy's kind of like looking left and right, like making sure no one's around. And he opens the bag, and I move close enough to look inside. So he opens the bag, and inside is an absolutely ticked off like jaguar, and it's hissing and huffing and screaming and thrashing around. So the guy looks at me and he asks me, so alright, are you gonna buy this? And so I kind of look at him like, are you serious? And And the first thing I ask him is like, this has got to be illegal. So like, what are you doing, man? And the guy is dead serious. He wants to sell me this cat that, for all I know, like if it got out of the sack, it would probably maul me to death or something. The thing is ticked off. It's literally growling and thrashing around inside this rice sack. And he's like, yeah, once it calms down, it'll make a really good pet. And I'm not buying that, obviously. And I'm asking him things like, I'm thinking, okay, this has to be illegal first off. And then I asked the guy, like, is it endangered? Anyways, I started talking with this guy, and he thought because I'm an American that I had money and I would want to buy this wild animal to keep as a pet in our tiny little apartment for some reason. And apparently this guy makes his living off of catching these animals. He caught it in a place called Gawahon. It's an eco park up in the mountains, and he makes his living by catching these wild cats and selling them to wealthy people. He named a few people, I'm not going to mention them. He told me he had sold one previously that day to some wealthy guy in that city, and he thought because I'm an American that I have a lot of money and that I would want to buy this exotic animal from him. We talked for a while, and eventually the guy realizes we're not going to buy, and we don't agree with what he's doing. This guy eventually leaves, but before he goes, we were able to get a picture of the animal just to prove that this happened, because like it was the most random thing. First off, this guy found out where we lived. Don't know how. He had to have someone either had to have told him, or he stalked us, or like something. He found out where we lived. Assumed we were wealthy. We were missionaries. We don't have a lot of money. We couldn't buy that if we wanted to, and even if we did, like, definitely illegal. Later on, after my mission, I did do some research about this, and I found out that the maral is actually called the Visayan leopard cat, and it's considered a vulnerable species. So what this guy was doing was absolutely wrong, and I don't support it. But these things happen in the Philippines, and it's really bizarre. It's really crazy. I hope that we, and especially the Philippines, can do more to protect the wildlife in the Philippines. They have all kinds of amazing wildlife that you can't find anywhere else in the world, and we should protect these animals. But it's a crazy place, and people do crazy things. I love the Philippines. I love its craziness. And that's my story. And I hope you all enjoyed this story. There will be lots more of these. And this is just the first one. Just getting started. So until next time, goodbye.